Good evening, everybody. It's been longer than I wanted it to be. But why? Well, finished my, acting class to make me eligible to audition for non-union acting roles, which are all of them now because SAG is striking. I actually have a big meeting with all the Philly casting directors on Sunday, so I better behave myself, right? Better make a good first impression, which I've never been good at, but we'll see how that goes. And looking for apartments because I gotta move by October 1st and sell this damn house, and there's still a lot to do. And for some reason it's all on me because my 33-year-old brother is a teenager. I know it doesn't make sense to me either, but the boomer gods say that's how it works, and if a boomer says it, you know it must be true, or so they want you to believe. Well, onward to the topic of the day, and yes, I'm on a Lilith kick more than normal. Lilith. The first feminist, the original empowered woman, the mother of demons, the breaker of chains, the queen of hell, the queen of defiance. Oh, Lilith, that man-hater, right? Not really. So the topic of this is men and Lilith. Can male witches work with and or have a pact with the goddess Lilith? In short, yes, but it's hard and it's not for everybody. She's very selective. She's selective in general with who she'll work with, but in terms of men, that's a lot more selective. And it's kind of two ways you can work with her. The one way is a little more selective. The one way is not that selective. The other way is real selective. You figure that one out on your own. So, there is this idea in the witchcraft community, particularly in the more neo-pagan, new age stuff, that Lilith is just this man-hater. And it's not really true, because, I don't know, Lilith has been visiting me for a long time, and I assumed I couldn't work with her for the longest time, because, I'm a boy. But then I learned more about her, and it's like, oh, seems like my kind of deity. I always wanted a deity to come find me, because me and Diana weren't getting along, and it's not like Diana didn't choose me. That's the goddess. The Casanovas have been with Diana for likely thousands of years, so it's more of a bloodline thing, and you all know how I feel about nepotism. So I kind of wanted to earn the respect of a deity through my actions, through who I am as a person, and I did. And turns out it's Lilith, which does make sense. So no, Lilith does not hate men. What she does hate is the patriarchy and the good old boys club. That good old boys club that I took the court and won and exposed their religious hatred of witches and their hatred of female firefighters and their sexual abuse of female firefighters that was swept under the rug because they're nepotistic good old boys who think because someone in their family was virtuous and a good worker decades ago that gives them a free pass to do whatever they want. Yeah, no, I exposed that. It's on the news. You can go see the video. And there's a couple articles too about it. Interesting stuff. I got balls. But I've been battling the Good Old Boys Club for 20 years and ranting and raving about it back when it wasn't cool. Because where I grew up, especially in the Bush era, oh, no. Good Old Boys Club is how it's supposed to be. Where I grew up, if you want to be a cop, your dad better be a cop. That's like the biggest determination. Doesn't matter, but I'm, if some guy whose dad wasn't a cop, he's like, but I'm ex-military in phenomenal shape, and I was even an MP. Yeah, but that don't mean nothing. Him over there, his daddy was a cop. It's like, but he breathes like this. He can't run 20 feet. His daddy can do it, he can do it. That's not how we do it around here, and that's how it's supposed to be. Says who? Well, I do. And let me guess, you inherited your government position from your father? Way it's supposed to be. Yeah. That kind of shit. Lilith doesn't like that. Lilith is all about equality in the truest sense of the word. She's not really for female supremacism. It's about like an equal partnership. And if you are a male who works with her, you have to learn, if you want to successfully work with Lilith, how to balance your male and female attributes, which fortunately for me, stepping out of witchcraft for a moment, if you look at Jungian psychology, INFJ men are pretty good at that naturally. Because that whole intuition and empathy thing is kind of rules our brain, and those are deemed as feminine qualities. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really care. So, but yes, if you're going to be a male who works with Lilith, there's some things you got to know. You got to hate the good old boys club. Well, first and foremost, it's how you treat women, how your history is with treating women and women's rights and equality, because there's no lying to Lilith. Don't even try. She knows. She knows all. You can't fool her. You don't want to betray her either, especially if you're male. Women too. You still don't want, you don't want to betray her, period, but especially if you're male. Her wrath is legendary. The saying, hell have no fury like a woman scorned. That saying's about Lilith, by the way. It is. So, but yeah, she particularly hates the patriarchy, anything that diminishes women, and anything, she hates things that force people to form to gender paradigms. Lilith is all about defiance and individuality and being who you truly are. Lilith hates followers. Okay, so if you, male or female, if you're going to go to Lilith thinking that, Lilith's in vogue and she's cool right now, she's going to see right through you. If you're just, I do what's ever popular and, whatever the fad is. No. Lilith doesn't do fads. Never has. So, and again, with the group thing, she's a loner. Remember, she wandered the desert in exile after leaving the Garden of Eden completely by herself. And then became the mother of demons. And then was hunted down by 3 archangels who she beat the crap out of when they tried to drag her back. It's pretty badass. She is quite badass. I mean, this is the same woman that Adam decided that he was going to dominate, and she refused and said, no, I'm going to be on top. And Adam tried to forcefully take her, and she fought him off. Yeah. It's pretty tough. Especially the 3 archangel things. Now, she had become, demonic at that point. Legend has it that, she found things in the garden that God didn't want humans to have. Mainly witchcraft, because she's the queen of witches. And that's how she was able to have such, transcendent powers and those awesome draconic wings that look badass. And not to mention, she's also said to be the most beautiful woman ever, which, Lilith. There's modern depictions of her on TV. We've talked about them. But, mainly Maleficent and Daenerys Targaryen. They're always vilified in the end. Nothing most men are going to write is going to show Lilith in an ultimately positive light. Because, most men have a reason to fear her. Most. There are exceptions. I'm one of them. And in the other case, guys, if you're thinking about working with Lilith, if you take advantage of women and lie to them and lead them on and make them think like they're in a relationship when you're just casually having fun, yeah, that's not going to end well either. Luckily for me, I'm demisexual, so I don't even have that urge. It's an all or nothing deep emotional connection thing. Now, that's not to say if you're a male and you're, let's say you're a heterosexual male and you want to work with Lilith, that you can't, because she's very lustful and seductive. It's not saying that you can't have casual sex. It's basically just like, if you're going to do that, you got to be open with your partner about what you're looking for. Like, if you find women who are down for that kind of arrangement, well, then there's no problem there. You're not lying. You're not being deceptive. All right. Lilith welcomes anybody, male or female, that comes to her as long as they are open to transformation. Oh, yes, Lilith is going to make you discover your true self. And guys, that means your feminine aspects too. Lilith is dark feminine energy. It's very important. So, when I invoke Lilith, When I tap into Lilith's energy, it's dark feminine energy. So when I'm doing a spell, and Lilith isn't subtle, by the way. When she's in a room, there's no like, ooh, am I feeling her energy or not? No. Lilith does many things. She's not subtle. Her presence is there. You know it. It's unmistakable. You'll feel hot. It'll be like this spicy, hot, sexy, seductive. You'll get those kind of feelings out of nowhere. And particularly Lilith's rage. Like when I become enraged, when I hex and I invoke Lilith to mainly hex a rapist or someone who sexually assaulted someone I know or a friend of someone I know. I've talked before how I get very angry and it's very demonic, but it's more than that. That rage, that anger, when it presents in a very effeminate way. My voice, my mannerisms, even my walk is very effeminate, which you think would be weird, but again, she is dark feminine energy, and that's what I'm invoking. And the fact that those feminine mannerisms are taking over means that I'm connected with her. And guys, if you think that doesn't make sense, let's talk biologically for a minute. Me, you, and every man who's ever been born has an X chromosome. Some have more than one. Those are genetic disorders. Some men have, normally we're XY, some are XXY, XXXY. There has never, in the history of humanity that science has proven, there has never been a man born without an X chromosome. In other words, like, there's a genetic disorder in women called Turner syndrome, because women, 2 X chromosomes. Turner syndrome is XO, so they only have 1 X chromosome. There has never been a male born YO or OY. Okay, so every man who's ever been born has an X chromosome. At least one, usually one. So yes, that is also what the Lover's card in the tarot represents, balancing your male and female attributes. It's very important, not just with Lilith, but all male witches need to learn how to do that. Particularly if you're going to work with Lilith, because let's get one thing straight, guys. If you're going to work with Lilith and engage with other Lilithian witches, you're the boy in the girls club. I mean, I've long been that, just in the witchcraft community as a whole. I've kind of been around it most of my life, and that's normal to me. So, but that's something to keep in mind. It is a very feminine dominated space, and if you think you're going to fool a bunch of witches, if you have intentions to, let's just say, have fun with some young female witches, no, that's not going to end well for you. They'll test your sincerity, because witches are the original feminists. Witches are the original rebels. Witches are the original outcasts. The community has been and will always be predominantly women, around 85%. And of the 15% that are men, the majority of them are gay. So as a straight man in the witchcraft community, understand you are rare. You are a minority. And I point that out because, well, I'm a white male who's straight. Well, technically demisexual, heterosexual, but you're kind of splitting hairs there. That may be odd for straight white guys to like comprehend. Like, yeah, in the witchcraft community, if you're gonna really deep dive into it, you're gonna be the minority, and it's probably gonna be weird. Like I said, I was exposed to witchcraft as a toddler, so it was a little different. It was normalized to me at a young age. And I grew up around the gay community too, so that was normal to me too from the very beginning. Most important, men with Lilith. Men who demean, exploit, or abuse women will not only not be welcomed by Lilith, but if you think you can fool her, like, ooh, Lilith can give me what I want, I'll just pretend to be something I'm not. Okay, you invoke Lilith, and let's say you are an F-boy. She's going to see that from you from day one. You open the door. So not only does Lilith know who you really are, now she has like access to you because you willingly opened the door and called her. She's gonna teach you a lesson or 20. You'll you'll meet some of her daughters. Not, her daughters are the succubi, and there's all different kinds. If you're that kind of guy, you're not going to meet one of the ones that you want to meet. They have different personalities too. So, yeah, if you are the kind of guy who sees women as property, you should be afraid of Lilith. That's why there's this new thing. Lilith is on the rise in recent years. I mean, right now, Diablo 4 is doing a great job of getting people curious about the goddess Lilith. I don't play video games, but I did watch the cutscenes, and I gotta say, the voice actor is awesome. And while I know the story's not based, on what's in, like, the Alphabet of Ben Sira, which is the oldest surviving text of Lilith, it's Jewish mythology from 200 BC, it's based on that. But at least, their character of Lilith acts very Lilith. And of course, recently, the biggest TV show is Game of Thrones. Daenerys is based on Lilith. They vilified her at the end for burning children. Hey, the real Lilith was said to eat children. She doesn't, by the way. She doesn't. And of course, before that, there was Maleficent, who, black dragon, evil, bad. Yeah, poor Lilith. She never gets treated right, because of that horrible crime of wanting back the equality that she was born with that was stolen for her, all because Adam cried because he felt uncomfortable about her being on top some of the time. Think about how stupid that is. Think, boys. Let's say you have the most beautiful woman in the world and she loves you, but you're unhappy because she demands a turn on top. It's madness, isn't it? Madness. Maybe it's just me. I'm a witch and a demisexual. The idea of, me being in love with somebody and her saying, hey, I want to be on top this time, and that emasculating me. It's like, have at it. That would make things easier for you in that moment. Yeah, that's Lilith's cry. And then, she spoke the name of God and flew out of the garden because she had already obtained her, witchy abilities, because Lilith's smart. She knew she was getting out of there, so she tried to take things that would help her. Okay, Lilith is the goddess of anyone who is marginalized, and that does not mean just women, although it is predominantly women, But if you are a male who is the enemy of the good old boys club, who has a history of standing up to it, albeit possibly vainly, particularly if, you were young and it was just you, no one else would back you because it wasn't cool. Lilith notices that. She's, that's the kind of stuff that really gets her attention. Many people of different gender identities are marginalized and welcomed by the Dark Mother. So, regardless of your gender identity, chances are Lilith will accept you, really depending on your actions as a person. Regardless of what gender you identify with, but what have you been doing? How do you treat other marginalized people? What is your end game? And another big thing, guys, pacts with Lilith as a guy can be kind of dangerous. Women more inclined to make pacts with Lilith. If a woman breaks that pact, typically Lilith goes silent and ignores them forever. A little different for us. It's said that men who break pacts with Lilith go insane. And regardless of gender, when you make a pact, I won't say with anyone because I don't really know what it's like with anyone. When you make a pact with Lilith, she's really good at giving you what you want. But you have to give something in return. You're making a deal. No, it's not your soul. I don't even, I don't really know if you can give Lilith your soul. I don't know if that's her thing or not. But that's between you and her. Usually it's something to do with her endgame, her cause. And if you're a male who's been accepted by Lilith, you should already be fighting towards that goal. So, depending on what you want, and if you're able to offer something that'll further her cause, she'll probably make the deal. Just got to remember, when you get what she promised, you have to uphold your end of the bargain, even if it's going to cost you personal detriment in your career. You can't just skip off into the sunset like, well, thanks, Lilith, that was awesome. And also, I will speak for more than just her. When you make pacts with any demons, they like praise. They like when you tell people who helped you. See, because a lot of them have been bad-mouthed, and, they're not, most of them aren't as bad as you think they are. And they enjoy helping people, but they enjoy being praised and getting offerings, and they want other people to be curious about reaching out, because demons are, in general, are pretty curious about humanity, whereas angels, for the most part, there's exceptions, are up on their high horse, like, I am so much better than you, I am made of fire, which is what got a certain guy kicked down. Yeah, him. I don't really have much experience with Lucifer. Met him once, invoked him. Very powerful, very strong presence, and then he called me Mama's boy and left. Yep, that's what happened. So, Mother Lilith, yes, Mama's boy. I'm finally a Mama's boy. I was a black sheep to my birth mother, but now the Dark Mother babies me, which is awesome. Be aware of that too, men. Lilith's not known for her patience. She expects you to be patient. Can't keep bugging her. Typically, if she says she's going to do something, she's going to do it. She's going to do it in her own time. She's Lilith. She's busy. She's popular. Occasionally, some people she tends to coddle a little more. I'm one of them. It's awesome. I'm like a big toddler. I whine, and she consoles me. Doesn't yell at me. It's great. It's probably because of how I was, probably because she knows everything I've been through. It's been a bad couple years, but in general, she's not very patient. Keep rambling on here, but there's always so much more I could say about Lilith. Just remember, men, know what Lilith stands for, know what she's about, know your own history, if it aligns with hers, know what's to be expected of you if you're going to become a son of Lilith. And there's going to be women who are leery about that at first, because while there are quite a few men who work with Lilith, I'm talking about men who Lilith is, their principal deity. They're the mother goddess. Like, this is my main deity. Some will look at you funny. Some will question your sincerity. It may take some time, depending on who you are and what your past is. I mean, I have a long history of being a witch and, pretty well known as a demisexual too, so that kind of gave me a pass. Be aware of that. Don't be afraid about diving into your feminine aspects, your feminine energy. It's quite powerful. Can't do witchcraft without it. You're certainly not going to connect with Lilith without being able to tap into your more feminine attributes. And it's going to be harder. It takes time. That's something you're probably going to be trained by female Lilithans. They don't know what it's like to be male trying to tap into dark feminine energy. We can do it. It's harder for us than it is for them. It takes time. You got to balance things. You kind of got to break down some of that society stuff that's been beaten into you. Because remember, society and groupthink, no go with Lilith. She don't care. She don't care what's popular. She don't care who said what. She wants to see you for what you really think. Nobody else in the room but you and her. She wants to see that person, who you are when nobody's looking. Are you a warrior? Are you a sap? Are you a monster? What are you? But She is the queen of empowerment, male or female. And for those that don't respect her, for those that do not treat women right, for those that thrive in the good old boys club, Lilith is on the rise. What's divine cannot be wholly suppressed. She'll never give up. Your days are numbered, and the old boys club's gonna fall. The old boys club's gonna fall. And just remember, those of you that fear her, you may think you know you can spot us when you see us, but you can't. Some you can. But, the sweetheart that you think you're going to use may be a daughter of Lilith. The deacon in your church may be a son of Lilith, sent to infiltrate. Common role for a male witch, historically anyway. You don't know who you are until we want you to know who we are. And we're everywhere. And our numbers are growing. A lot of the stories about Lilith have been suppressed, and a lot of people right now, as I spoke in an older video, said, oh, they're not real, they're not real. Notice the terror in their voice. It can't be real. They know it's real. They can't have it be real because their whole good old boys system crumbles if they acknowledge that Lilith and her story is real. Because their whole right to be in charge goes right down the drain, because Lilith validates the whole equality thing. And with this, I've been talking too long. I haven't done a video in 9 days. Give me a break. Watch this to the end. Lilith will test you. Lilith will test you regardless of your gender. She'll really test you if you're male. Try to push you over the edge. That's important to know too. Lilith will bring you to your full potential. She will test you. And this goes for women too. Lilith, ladies, can make you a queen. She's a queen in her own right. She's self-made. Lilith can make you a queen, but don't try to tell her that you were born a queen. No. No. Doesn't work that way. So you got to be strong enough to walk her path and be accepted by her. Then she'll make you a queen. And guys, she doesn't make kings. She makes prince consorts. So know that too. If you're gonna be a male follower of Lilith, you will never be in charge. Kind of, you'll more or less be equal, but you'll kind of be a little bit lower because she's the queen and the queen's the head, and there is no king, kind of thing. Pretty protective mother figure though. If you do make it through her testing, and if she does bond with you and accepts you as a male, she becomes she's like a very, very protective mother. So, final point. It is very difficult for a male to seek her out. If you are a male, and you think you want to work with Lilith, you can try to open the door for her. But if Lilith wants you, guys, she'll come to you. She'll come to who she deems worthy of testing. Women can get her attention, from what they've told me. It's hard to get her attention. I mean, it's not that hard to work with her. If you were wronged in some way, you want to hex a rapist, she's all about vengeance and justice. You can go to a Lilithan witch and have that witch send that petition out for Lilith to do something about it. No, yeah, she'll do it. Probably. You never know with her. You can't speak for her. But to form a bond with her, she's become popular lately, and it seems like she's getting a little ticked off with people who are disingenuous about wanting to follow her path. That's the other thing. It's you're gonna throw your lot in with Lilith. It's an all or nothing. Be sure it's what you want. You can't be halfway with her. Can't be a dabbler with her. Lilith is kind of the special forces of witchcraft in a way. That's not to say you have to be an expert right off the bat, because no witch is done learning, but it's you got to be serious. you got to be serious, and you got to be proud if you get chosen by her. It can't be something that you hide, and it can't be something that you'll renounce when the first cool person makes fun of you for it, because witches, we get made fun of all the time. You join the witchcraft community, you're on the outskirts of society, on the fringes. It's where we've always been. It's probably where we'll be for some time more. Get it? So no, Lilith does not hate all men. She hates men who have done things of their own free will to warrant her vengeance and hatred. And some men she's just indifferent to. And then there's a select few of us that, she deems worthy to follow her path. And the few of us that make it through, we're lucky enough to become her sons, which is an awesome place to be. Can't imagine a better goddess to have as a mother figure than Queen Lilith herself. So I hope that answered those questions. This one went really long, but I wanted to be thorough. You guys like my long witchcraft videos, or at least I like making them. And I got a lot on my mind, so I may have repeated myself. But the information's there, and I'll be back. Remember, seek your truth, seek defiance. Salvation lies not in the light, but in you. And she can help you break the change of an artificial destiny that you've been drugged down. Ooh, one quick side note. A lot of times when she chooses people, it'll be in a near-death experience. That's how, not how she came to me for the first time, but that's how it was suggested that I follow her. And I'm like, what? But I'm a boy. And, took a couple years to figure things out that it's like, oh, she's serious. What did I do bad? Nothing. Well, and bad is in the eyes of Lilith anyway. So yes, hail Lilith, hail the Dark Mother. Times are changing. The era of the old boys club is coming to an end. Without Lilith, it never would. So remember that. All of you that dislike the patriarchy and the good old boys club, who do you think's been fighting that battle longer than anyone? Lilith.